Hello, this video is going to show you how to connect a regulator to your oxygen tank. This, of course, you only want to use the oxygen tanks in emergency situations if your oxygen concentrator at home stops working, or if you lose power because you need power to run the concentrator, or of course for transport, you're always going to use your tanks. Now, the one that we have here is the E-tank. It's the most common that you will see, definitely with patients who have a ventilator at home and they're on oxygen concentrator. This is the larger tank. All brand new tanks that are full will have a tab. To access the part that you need to put the regulator on, you'll have to just break this tab off. Now, I'm not going to break the tab off because I'm going to show you how to put a regulator on a tank that's already empty. So this is for demonstration purposes. But in your home, if you see a tank that has this tab, know that that tank is completely full of oxygen. When you are sent home with oxygen, you're provided a few things. One, a key. This is an oxygen key. You want to keep it near your tanks because this is how you're going to be able to close and open the tank and be able to connect your regulator. So you'll be provided one regulator, and this regulator can be used from tank to tank depending on when you're using it. So this smaller tank here is going to be for demonstration purposes. So the first thing you always want to do before you ever mess with the regulator is you want to make sure this tank is closed. So you're going to take your key, you see how it has different nozzles here. You're going to slide it on the top of the tank. To close your tank, you're going to turn it right. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, if you've ever heard that before. So turning it right or clockwise, you want to make sure that it's tight. All right, that means that the tank is closed, no oxygen is going to leak out. Once you know that it's closed, you can take the key off and then you're going to connect your regulator. Now, if you're looking at the regulator, you'll see these 3 pins here. Those fit right here on your tank. If you notice, one side doesn't have that, one side does. So you want to make sure this is completely open. You see your pins, you're going to slide this down on top of the nozzle, and you're going to fit those pins into that hole, and then you're going to this side so that we can attach the regulator to the tank. And just turn it to where it's tight. Now this part here is showing you that the tank is empty. This is what you're looking at to see how much oxygen you have left. Now it'll show empty right now, even if this tank was full, because the tank is closed. So in order to access the oxygen that's in here, we now need to take this key again, and we're going to open this tank for use. So I told you before we were turning it clockwise to close the tank. So now we're going to turn it counterclockwise or left to open it. So we're going to slide this back down, our key, and we're going to turn it just a little, and you'll feel a release of pressure. Now, if this tank had oxygen in it, that little nozzle there would go all the way to the green, or it'll go as far as it is that it is full. On the side here is how you're going to get to the number of the liter flow that the patient has been ordered. You would just turn it to the number that has been ordered for the patient, and then of course you will be able to access the oxygen from right here. This is where you're going to hook up the nasal cannula for the patient, or if the patient's on a ventilator and you're just hooking up oxygen tubing, this is where this is going to go. Now, if this tank is empty, which this one is, and you need to take this regulator off and put it on a new tank like this one, who has a tab and is brand new full of oxygen, first thing you have to do, completely turn off. So this is turning all the way up, so you want to turn it all the way to 0. So our flow meter is turned off, all right, it's on 0. Then we have to close the tank again. You cannot unscrew this regulator until your tank is closed again. How you'll know it's closed is because this little nozzle here that's showing you that the indicator is on red, you want it to go back to red. So you're going to put your key on, again, closing the tank, we're turning it to the right or clockwise until it's tight. If there was still oxygen in the regulator, this would start to drop. You're going to wait till it gets to the red, which it already is, and then it is safe to remove your regulator. Again, never ever take the regulator off until your tank is fully closed and there's no pressure reading on your PSI indicator. And again, when we are using these tanks at home, remember this is only for transport, or if something happens, an emergency and power goes out and you no longer have use of your concentrator, this is when you'll want to use your oxygen tanks at home. Make sure you know how to use a regulator, make sure you know where the regulator and the key is. This stand here is provided to you for all e-tanks, so you want to keep your key here, and definitely the regulator. You could even go ahead and have it set on one of the tanks so it's ready to go, so that all you have to do is turn on the liter flow. And again, if you ever have any questions or you have issues troubleshooting this part and you've tried to get the regulator on, make sure that you call PD Stat. We have on-call 24 hours. If you just need supplies or a refill from your tanks, make sure you call during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. Thank you.